Hello, I'm Retrozuki81. Anyone ever wonder about the size of my head? Well, the size of my head might be bigger, but it might need to get smaller, and it would get smaller with a fitness trainer. Now, to reverse Mr. Potato Head from the 1980s to being a normal size head, uh, you need work done. You need to train. You need to have all the money and everything in place to become that guy again. So, uh, there's how to say it. I think I could work on myself, my life, and if I wanted to really become this Shenmue guy again, I could probably even get some kind of a hair hairdo transplant or something, toupee. I don't know what I would do, but they could make me into this guy again. I think in a real life movie, and then I could be in the shape. I could do all these things, but it takes one thing: money. And without money, it won't happen. No, it won't happen. And the fact that I'm just some guy living in the, uh, you know, these neck of the woods, downriver, or whatever. I'm living down around here. Okay, I'm living out here. I'm nobody around here. Maybe some guy that's a land celebrity could say that too, perhaps. You're nobody around here, Ryan. Hey, I could buy you a place in Florida. That's just a random kind of a humorous comment. But honestly, I've done these moves and I've done them. And I've done them beyond perfectly. So, um, I know I have this in me, and you know, I can even sound like the English voiceover actor Corey Marshall. I notice I can just imitate what I hear, or just repeat what I hear, or maybe like say sound like the way I hear myself. Uh, there are truths about this Shenmue that I don't just come out and say. Now, if you look at this screen here, look at that, okay? You see how Shenmue is in cursive there? Notice how Shenmue is in cursive. You see that? This is probably, I would have to say, in my opinion, I cannot sign my name in signature format. Now, notice they changed it for Shenmue 3. Well, there's a reason I know about that, but it's a belief. It's a belief that I would have to say I believe I know why Shenmue is always signed in cursive here. And cursive, we don't even teach that to our children in elementary school anymore now, do we? This is a 1990s game. I'm supposed to be the depiction, the representation of Ryu Hazuki. And I know that that is my history, and that is what I was supposed to be and do. So I perhaps all these words, these kind of uh this literature, this grammar, whatever they use that for Shenmue, is because I only have so much time after class to see my teachers. They just copied me. Okay? They copied me and they used me to make this Shenmue. Now, I've explained this before, but I don't know what I would do with this other than the fact that I'm online, I'm doing these things, I'm doing the moves from Shenmue, and I know people appreciate me doing these moves, But at the same time, I would appreciate it if I could get in a time machine and go back in, 29 years ago and get my money that was supposed to be promised to me or given to me, and, clear up whatever misunderstanding with my teacher that he didn't realize. Maybe I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, say that he failed to understand me, uh, failed to understand my family, which, my family members were never present in class. When I did this Shenmue fight choreography, my family just dropped me off, and they signed, the agreement to train karate, but uh, I signed agreements in the restroom without a parent or guardian present, and you know how to say it, like, they dropped me off there at the Lincoln Park Region 5 Dojang. I did all these moves for Shenmue. They know I have it in me to do Dark Moon, but to do Dark Moon correctly, you need more than just uh, one gymnastic mat. You need like a kind of like a plush mat, gymnast mat, perhaps like that. And you need that because if you don't have that, you could break your hips and thighs maybe doing it, but uh, I believe I can do that Dark Moon. It's just, that's one move that I know. They just toss the mat out and they're like, here, do this move. And those guys, I think they might have done it. One of them did it, but they have all the time in the world to do that move. Now, what I did instead of that move was the move they used for Jin Kazama's Tekken Sakyokushin karate move, where you jump and you flip and your back of your heels, hits your opponent. So that's part of the history of the way this fight choreography was created. And I know I explained this before in my previous videos. These moves are all relatively familiar to me. Like, if you look at Ryuzuki here, look at this. I'm just sitting here. Now, you see how he's in a Taekwondo stance, and Guizan's like in a Chinese kind of open palm karate stance. Our Subakdo Karate Federation has a northern style in it, and they don't tell you that. The northern Chinese style is what I'm trying to say. They're not going to tell you these things in Shenmue. They will not explain this. So there was an original plan, I think, that upon me receiving this degree long ago, that's undocumented nowadays, there was an original plan, assuming I kept the body of Ryuzuki intact. I never lost my body, I never lost my strength, I never lost my power. That's the problem here. When I lost that power in Shenmue, the next year in 1996, I lost my power for being Ryuzuki. I was so devastated, I was depressed, I was sad to lose my power. And to not understand that, to get this power, you're not supposed to just be a spiritual martial artist. You're supposed to be spiritual in a way that you use your body to get stronger. And besides doing push-ups and sit-ups and all those things, how to say it, I'm used to a Western kind of a lifestyle here, and Christianity does not approve of like sex before marriage or something like that. So that's why I think I have so many problems since then or whatever, but like my biggest problem nowadays is the fact that I'm trying to clear up any misunderstandings along the way and fill in the gaps and make up for what I can make up for, because I am Shenmue, to myself, I'm always going to be Shenmue. But that's something I feel like I have to share with Mr. Corey Marshall in a way online because, uh, I do these moves for Shenmue. And when I spoke to Mr. Corey Marshall over the phone for the first time, I talked to him for 2 hours, and he did say, "So you do the moves for Shenmue?" And this is before I did any moves for Shenmue to begin with. Now I don't know how he knew that. I don't know how he knew that, but maybe I was doing one move for Shenmue, but I was doing it wrong. I think that may have been the case. That may have been the case because there's a time where in Shenmue the animation where Guizhang and Ryuzuki do surprise splash, but really it's supposed to be swallow dive or actually they call it swallow dive, but it looks like surprise splash maybe, or I don't know. It's like I do the move wrong. That's for swallow dive. I corrected myself and I taught myself how to do swallow dive again, so I do it correctly online now. That's the move that's like a defensive, you know, back hook kick, step forward, step 2 steps back forward, whatever, and then you come back with a kick. So, you know, these are some secrets about Shenmue. Okay, look at this here. See that? That's medical tape, everybody, on Ryuzuki's face. In Shenmue 3, they try to say that they try to give the image and depiction that Ryuzuki would wear a band-aid. And he does not wear a band-aid. That's medical tape. I used to wear medical tape on my face sometimes when my acne would get so bad. But they want to give it the image like he's always been in the fights and that for Shenmue. So, medical tape actually also is something that in the Karate Federation that I'm from, they would put on the black belts, the Dan black belts, they use medical tape and not electric tape. But they put medical tape on there to represent each Dan degree. So if I have one Dan, I'm first Dan. If I have two Dans, I have 2 pieces of medical tape. And if I have 3 Dans strips, 3 Dan degrees, I use 3 medical strip tapes wrapped around my black belt. And that's what they used to do. This is a military martial art. And so the military personnel would use medical tape because it represents something in the medical field for the military. That's what a karate teacher told me before. So you see, medical tape has more significance than just being medical tape alone. Throughout history, even in the military, medical tape has more meaning to it. Some of these things I want to say, or maybe a numerical portion of these things, are things that my teachers, I believe, knew that I would have done. I would have done all these things if I wanted to do these things because they had the faith in me that I could do these things. But that's, what I'm saying is the faith and the confidence my teachers had in me at the time. There's a way Shenmue was created, and so there's something more, I believe, to this motorcycle scene, probably, but there's, what I want to say, again, about the disclaimer, I don't even know if some of these people that are following along with the disclaimer, if some of them are actually deceased nowadays. Because they do make a disclaimer saying that these people in Shenmue do not represent anybody They don't look like anybody. They don't, you know, represent anybody. But um, they're just fictional characters. But I believe that they have become that way because Shenmue had to be, they had to go with something, I think, to make Shenmue. Now, they went with my fight choreography. They extracted it from my training, and then they used that to make Shenmue 1 and 2. You notice how the moves in Shenmue 1 and 2 are so much better, and the body of Ryuzuki is so much more sexier looking and better than the body they portray in Shenmue 3? Uh-huh. Because it's become redundant. And why has it become redundant? I mean, I could get into this more and more, but it's something that may not make me look as good to get into it. But I do understand and know that when I get into these truths, they're this is like undocumented knowledge, unofficial knowledge. It might be documented, but a lot of it's unofficial because they don't want to just say this about Shenmue. So, you know, I know that I've done this for Shenmue. I've done all this, and I just, it kind of look probably, how to say it, like it may seem kind of crazy that I'm coming online just explaining this in a darkened room here, but I don't know where this will go, but I just have these claims, and I would like to get somehow represented or compensated for this, but I don't know if I ever will. And that's, see, this is the problem I have with this, is because I know I've done these things, and then my teachers are still not calling me. They're not doing nothing about this. It's like a lost cause in a way, in a manner of speaking. Now, I have a friend that I might do it. He might help me make a document, like a, what is it? A documentary is what what I was gonna say. A documentary about myself and Shenmue. Now, I do say a lot more on this YouTube channel that is like unofficial knowledge, and in theory, it's theoretical. You can call it theory, call it what you want, but the fact remains is that I'm doing these 3-kick strings. I'm doing the ones primarily used in Shenmue 1 and 2, and then I'm doing some other moves that are pretty much done right. I'm doing the thunder kick. I'm doing the thunder kick, both 3-kick strings. I can do the cyclone kick correctly, and I've done it like kickboxer vengeance or retaliation, whichever one it was, like Kurt Sloan. I did it like that, but then I did the cyclone kick again. I did it correctly from Shenmue 1 and 2, and then here comes the tornado kick. I do it, but I don't do it as good as I used to do it. See, it's like a more kind of a redundant tornado kick, but I can still move my body the way I was doing it. The problem I have with doing these moves correctly is that I need to have like a trainer, a good lifestyle. I don't have those things. I don't have most of those things, especially without the money that was promised to me. I don't have those things. And I'll say it 1,000 times, I don't have those things. I don't have the money. Without the money, I cannot, I could never really become that Shenmue guy. And that's a big problem, because when people hear the word royalties, people get like, offended and jealous, and like they get like, oh, I want to have royalties too, but not everybody just earns royalties. You see, it's not a good thing, really. What has happened to me, But I have to bring this up because this is my life achievement too, to earn that degree, which my teacher is so stubborn not to want to make it again. And it's a big problem I have with that teacher. The fact that he's on a high horse in the Arizona police station and does not want to budge, does not want to get off that high horse and make that degree again, or give me something about that. But yes, it's a problem. And it's a problem I have with people that are so arrogant and so cocky and so stuck up that they don't want to acknowledge what I did for Shenmue. You see? They don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to acknowledge who I really am. Who am I? Ryuzuki. Well, teacher, you named me Ryuzuki on a degree, a new name. And you always be Ryuzuki. Those are his words. I mean, I could quote a lot of his words at the ceremony that day, but then he gives the credit, he gives the money, he gives all those things to someone else. I don't know who he gave them to, the credit to or the money, but they could be like, Mr. Rogers. I don't know. And that's what I don't know. They could be like someone in the community of Riverview because, there's reasons for that too. I don't like to just say these things, but at the same time, I'm living around. I have I have a roof over my head, but I don't have, the things that a guy like me should have for what he achieved in life. A man like me that achieved that degree in life, I should be rich, I should be wealthy, I should have royalties the rest of my life. I should not be suffering. I should have had everything paid for. I should not even have ever had to work again. Do you know, anyone ever watch the show Everybody Loves Raymond? I hear that those royalties that Ray Romano gets are so expensive. They're worth so much money, but I don't know what the figure was. I have some relatives, some family that likes watching that Everybody Loves Raymond. It's like elderly people watch it over and over again. But what did I do with my life? I created the fight choreography, and I had some unpatented or patented ideas that helped create Shenmue. You see, I did this for Shenmue. I did the moves for Shenmue 1 and 2. Now that game, they do claim that the Japanese government spent $47 million to $70 million to make Shenmue 1 and 2, and then they got other donations for that as well. I don't know if that's true, but they do claim that on Google. And the fact that, Shenmue, it had to come from something. They had to go to somebody's fight choreography. Nobody does that tornado kick until I do it. But they're claiming that, I don't know if they're claiming somebody else does that and showed that. But you notice how in Shenmue, like, when Yu Suzuki does, and I respect Mr. Yu Suzuki, but when he does come on television or he comes on, was it Magic Monaco or E3, whatever, they don't ever talk about the fight choreography of Shenmue, okay? They don't talk about who showed us these moves, who did these moves, who introduced the moves to Shenmue, because the fight choreography is what makes Shenmue special, in my opinion. If Ryuzuki wasn't a real cool karate martial artist with an awesome fight choreography, what would Shenmue be? What would Shenmue be without the fight choreography? And this will be the title of my next video, going on just below 25 minutes. What would Shenmue be without the fight choreography? And thank you, I'm Retro Rizuki 81.